Hey everybody, welcome back to Arm Pitching Development. This is another session of free pitching analysis. Today we're looking at Jackson, who is an 8-year-old pitcher from Orange County, California. 8 years old, that's going to be pretty cool. I think this is the youngest one we've done on the channel so far. So this will be interesting to see how it goes. We're going to look at a few things to get started here, to keep it pretty simple. If you're new to the channel and not familiar with the format or not familiar with how we go about doing things here, I like to keep it pretty simplified. We're going to look at some core points, balance and posture. We're going to look at stride and direction, and then we'll look at arm action and timing, and then we'll look at transition or energy transfer from the hips. And then we'll look at the throw, finish, and follow through deceleration phase of the arm here, okay? Just pretty cut and dry. At the top of this video, if you're new and you're interested in submitting a video for free analysis or review for me, send a horizontal video to the email address above. And I don't need slow motion. You can if you want, but I don't need it. I just need a picture too. And send it in. And then let me know where you're from and the age of the athlete and name, and that should be enough. So Orange County screams Anaheim Angels to me, so I think we'll do an Angel scheme today just for a professional look. If you don't know who I am, my name's Coach Jason. I've been a pitching coach for the last 20 plus years at the collegiate and high school level. I run and train the Arm Pitching Development Program at 643 Baseball Academy in Kansas City, Missouri since 2017. So I've been involved with baseball for about 40 years now. Anyways, all right, so let's dive into Jackson here and see what he looks like. Great. So this video is in slow motion, so I'm not gonna play the video live. We're just gonna get right into it. So going into Jackson, all right, buddy. I want to talk about the set stance real quick. I actually think this is a good set stance for this age. Nice, comfortable look. You know, that maybe the feet are a little close together. Maybe they could be about shoulder width apart. That's my philosophy, just being in a comfortable base and an athletic base about shoulder width apart. That may be his shoulders apart. I'm not sure yet. So this hand position here looks okay to me at the moment. I'm not sure if I have a thought process on maybe bringing it up maybe to around here a little bit and staying on top of the break line, or having his hands on top. I'm not sure. For younger ages, I actually like this position because it promotes down on top for arm spiral. And if we get here to the side, then sometimes you have a tendency to open up on the side of the ball to try to get into throwing position. Okay, so that'll be something we'll watch out for today as we go through and look at Jackson. Everything's looking at the target. This is a backside view, which we haven't done yet, so this is kind of fun. All right, so we're gonna go into load balance posture. Okay, remember this is an 8-year-old, so let's find the top, maybe right about here. So something to ask yourself is, does he look comfortable? Does he look natural at his load height? Does it feel like he's out of balance? If he doesn't look out of balance to you, then we don't really need to change it. I like this position here at about a 50%. I would argue that we could promote the toe down at this point, just to carry the weight down the hill maybe a little bit better at this age, depending on how strong he is. I'm okay if he doesn't though, just because it's 8 years old, right? We want up, down, out, pretty simple. And then this piece here looks okay. Looks like he's getting ready to drive his hip down the hill. Eyes are on frame, his shoulder looks good, his back knee's going home plate. Here's one interesting thing of note. So when we go into stride length, this is a nice view here of boundary lines. So what I've talked about is pitching inside the foot for boundary position. Okay, so his landing should be within that box I just drew at the base of the mound. If he's outside or inside of this thing, or outside on either line, then we know that our direction is going to be off, and it's going to be a more inefficient pitch to home plate. So this view allows us to see this, what I've talked about over in the videos, at a better, a more clear, precise manner. Okay, so we got through the load point, we got through the balance point, the posture point. Let's continue on to stride and direction. There's a little bit of collapse in this back knee, so I think maybe we could hold position just a smidge longer, right? Again, he's 8 years old, so I don't want to overdo. I know my lines are on there, but so this position would technically be stacked back here. So we would hold that back leg back longer if he can handle it, right? So strength comes into play, balance comes into play, balance and strength kind of work hand in hand, right? So we'd be sitting back here, and then you'd be up in this way in a chair. So he might be a little bit forward with that front knee where it's going past his toe here, right? So we want to stay in the boundary of the foot with that knee as well, heading down the hill. Okay, I'm going to clear things up here. We'll go back to the landing point in just a bit. Okay, so I think I'd like to see this leg come out, maybe down to here, straighten out a little bit. That will help him keep his weight back, given that he's strong enough to handle it. I think that would be a good cleanup thing to maybe get done there for him. Okay, so right before landing is where I want to get to. Yeah, so maybe right there. So this position I see a lot at younger ages when I train them, and I think it has to do with the flexibility and range of motion. A lot of these kids are closed off. This looks like a closed off position here. Look at the front leg where it's kind of down and in like this. So maybe he's going to have a hard time opening up the front hip to clear the back hip, to clear his shoulders out. But we'll see, because again, I don't know until I get there. But I think we could get forward. I don't necessarily like that angle there. I think it could be a little bit better for him, just with a little bit of training, bringing it up to here. Okay, and then we're at arm, so we're a little bit early here, but at younger ages especially, it's better to have your arm in an elevated arm slot or arm spiral early rather than late, right? And then this view also gives us a good view of scapular retraction here. So you see how his shoulders like coming back. That's a good thing. It means he's reaching a nice range here, and I like how this pec is kind of going back here. He's staying back with his chest here. This looks really good. I like that position. I like how he's looking at everything towards the target. So there's some stride and direction. So we're going to go to hip shoulder separation. All right, right here, I think it's okay, but that foot is probably, at that angle, so it's really too closed off in my mind. But I want to go back. Did he land in the boundary lines that we had set up earlier with his back foot, right? So it was like here and here, and I think he did land it right in the middle of this, which is nice. It's a tough position for young players. You see a lot of guys that get closed off there. So good job. This little 45-degree up at the landing point is good. That's fine. What we want to see is the hips clear, the foot's clear out, the hips will clear, and then the shoulder will clear. So So that actually looks pretty good. I just think maybe we could try to sit back a little bit more to open up the front leg at more of a 20-degree to maybe 45-degree at the most. I like a 20-degree angle for younger guys. So this scapular traction here, that in the glove hand, so you feel like it's pinching back. That's a really good position for younger guys. I like this. I like this position here. This is looking good. All right, Jackson, let's continue on. Ball hand set. Yeah, so I mean, younger hands guys, you know, I think he's got maybe a 3-finger approach, and that's okay. If your youngster doesn't have the hand for 2 fingers, let them have 3 fingers, please, okay, until they grow up and get bigger hands. Everything's gonna be okay. All right, so that grip right here is appropriate for young men, okay, younger ages, definitely. So maybe it'll force a change-up technique a little bit early as they get older. All right, this is the transition phase, guys, right here. I call it the transition phase. I mean, some other coaches may have other thought process on it, transfer of energy out from the back leg to the hips. Okay, this is pretty clean square. I don't know the timing of the arm. I'm trying to map that out. So like, I think it's pretty good. Like, see this layback here? Right here and here. I like that. That looks really good. He's pretty well squared up to the target right here. I think this is pretty good, to be honest with you. You know, what I try to teach at younger ages is more of a T approach with your shoulders, and that's the way I train it and build it. But every athlete's going to move a little bit different. Every athlete's going to have their way of getting the job done. And the only thing you can do is reasonably try to put them in energy efficient positions to train off of, and then let them kind of sync up from that point. So if I was building this, you know, we would try to work a more of a square position here where the shoulders are teed out, and then we come back down like that and to get to the throw position. But this is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, this isn't not that bad of a tilt line. You know, we could argue that the glove hand is a little bit passive at the moment. Let's cover glove hand real quick, guys, while we're into this. So my approach on glove hand is, you know, we go out, right? We go out, and then what we do is we bring it back in. Okay, and I'm trying to give you a viewpoint to our side as best we can, to the side, and then what we have is we can pull in, but we can't drop below. Now, if he doesn't have the strength to carry that, that's understandable. But once we get to elbow lock position, a 90-degree position, try to bring it through, not dropping below. The hands don't drop below the elbow joint. Okay, that's just a good rule of thumb to play by when you're teaching or coaching the younger kids, is have them work the transaction through the glove and then out forward to the release point and through the target. I think a little bit better. So going through energy transfer, the hip is cleared here. It looks pretty good. This foot looks good. It's still on the rubber as he's going through his target. Okay, this is a pretty good, strong position to pitch from. Okay, as we go out, this release height, I think this is okay, but one thing of note, this is hard for younger ages on the ball. You'll see a lot of guys that will hold the ball off to the side like this, you know, and then so he's throwing maybe more of a pitch. It's hard to say, but if it's underneath, it's fine. If it's up off to the side, it could be a little stressful on the elbow, a little bit more than we want, but it's hard for me to see at this view, right? Okay, and then we'll go out through the throw. So we're looking at throw, can't get a good glimpse of distance. It's a really good finish, like looking at his target through the throw still, you could tell he's going to be a good strike thrower. Okay, he has a really good idea of about where he wants to go. Okay, so because this foot maybe isn't a little bit straighter, maybe at that degree, maybe at a 45 degree. So if this is a 90, if we get it to a 45 degree angle, this early spine out piece here doesn't happen. So he actually may be putting a little bit more stress on the arm or dragging the arm through a little bit if he's opening down and out early. So the energy's almost like right here. You see how it's like running off to the left, maybe a little bit early, or I want to go through the target a little bit earlier. And then at this point, what I try to do is get the guys to almost throw the ball through this window down and through it this way, and then turn left. So we're converting that energy forward a little bit better. Again, we're talking about an 8-year-old, so sometimes I get wrapped up on being a little too fancy, I think. Yeah, I think we could clean up that part just a little bit. This all looks a little dumpy to me right here. Down. So energy might be dragging out to the left, so he might be dragging his arm through instead of driving his arm through the target a little bit better. Okay, but there's a lot of things right here for Jackson at 8 years old. Okay, yep. And then so this is that crash left finish. So all his weight, all his energy has gone off to the left here. So everything's gonna fall off to the left hand side, right? Instead of a better positioning would be squared out, and maybe the back hip lands more in the center out here. It doesn't have to be off to the side. I don't care about that, where it's like that whole stay behind and field the ball. I'm not a fan of that. I don't think that's necessary. You could have some extra follow through. I think that'd be okay. And then there's a little bit on the deceleration side here. See this arm kind of walking away from ourselves? What I like to do is stick the arm in a relaxed manner. We want to cool the arm down as we go through the throw. Be loose with it, but I don't want to retract it back up. I think that could put some stress on the arm that's not necessary as well. So I do have one other thing I want to look at, a couple of positions here on the side. So I want to look at this real quick, guys, just to get a good sense of what I was talking about on the back view. All right, so you have your load position, low balance brake position, right? He has a delayed handbrake. Okay, so that is a delayed handbrake, which is okay. Right here, I'd like to break the hands down just to start the timing of things. Now, a delayed handbrake's fine if you can handle it. There's that side rip. So remember what I was talking about on the ball, guys, right? And I think if we could just get him to break his thumbs downward to spiral up, will be a little bit less stressful on his bicep, on his deltoid, on his forearm, right? All these things, I think it'll be helpful for him in the long run. So maybe we'll look at getting that cleaned up. Okay, we go stride and separation. Stride and distance. Good stride length. That actually may be an overdone stride length. Maybe we could trim that down a little bit. Look at it and see if we're operating around 80%, 85%, 90%, something like that. If it's over 100% of height, then maybe we want to trim that down. It looks like this ball may be out front a little bit here. That could be causing some stress in the bicep as well. Could become a little bit more pushier than we want. We did see good scapular retraction here where on the backside view. So I know he's reaching good range. Yeah, right there. See the left shoulder drop? Clear. I don't know. I think it's okay. And he elevates the arm and the elbow up there. I do think there's a little bit of energy leak coming off the left side that we want to go. I mean, from this angle, it looks like he's squaring really well. This almost looks like a different pitch. See, he stayed behind the ball there. On the backside view, he crashed all the way over to the left. So there's a change already I could tell with that, because that right there, see how he rolled this shoulder in like that and down, and then this hip's going to follow down, and now he's going to stay behind that pitch a lot better, right? And then I still think we could maybe clean up the glove hand just a little bit. Eyes look good. Yeah, he decelerated better in that video. Yep. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. 8-year-old Jackson looks pretty good. A couple of things to maybe work on, and then just keep working on your strength. Keep playing baseball, buddy. At 8 years old, I bet you're killing them out there right now. Yeah, this is yeah, I want to keep the weight in the back leg a little bit here better, okay? Let's work on that. Looks like you guys are baseballers out there. Look, I'm from Sacramento, California. California is full of baseball. It's a baseball state. There's some really, really good talented players always out there in California. So I bet you Jackson's going to be one of them. Excited to get to work with guys from California. It's fun, especially if you ever. I'm a North Sider, so these are South Siders. We don't always blend that well, but we're not enemies. But it's just a different world from the North Side and the South Side. All right, a little bit about California. Anyways, if you're interested in submitting a video for a review, send that to the email address above. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing for more pitching tips, drills, exercises, workouts, analysis, education as I post them. And if you wouldn't mind giving the video a thumbs up, helps me, makes me look good. I don't know, it makes me feel good, right? I got a bunch of likes today. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Consider watching this next video right here if you want to get better with your accuracy. Well, have a good one. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.